Can you take your fix and flip profit and invest it tax-free into rental property? What's going on, YouTube? It's Matt Faircloth. Thanks for watching Mentorship Monday. My name is Matt. As you know, I'm with the DeRosa Group, and you can find out more about us at DeRosaGroup.com. Do me a favor, if you guys do not, just do me a favor. If you're watching this and you're not a subscriber, subscribe to this channel. We would love to have you as a subscriber, and we want your support, and you'll get more notifications of all the cool stuff we've got going on. We send out videos to bigger pockets on this channel. We do lots of cool interviews on this channel. We do site walks at our rental properties and our apartment buildings on this channel, and you're going to get notifications of them if you subscribe. So click the subscribe button. We want your attention. Mentorship Monday goes like this. We put them out on Mondays, and these are just questions that folks email to us at helpme@DeRosaGroup.com. That is helpme@DeRosaGroup.com, and I will answer your question right here on the YouTube page for you and everyone else to learn from. So today's question comes from Glenn. Glenn has a good question. This is nice and sharp. I love it when you guys send me quick Mentorship Monday questions because they're easy to answer and I can get into a good conversation with you guys. That's okay. Glenn, can you use the profit from a single family home sale to participate in a partnership in rental properties? Interesting. So what Glenn's talking about doing is, let's say he fix and flips a house. He didn't say fix and flip, actually. So let me back up a little bit. Glenn said, can one use the profit from a single family home sale to participate in a rental property? Now, let's go a couple different directions. Let's say Glenn owns that single family home as his primary residence. If he sells a primary residence, he can then keep, as of right now, as I understand it, I'm not a CPA, not a lawyer, but as I understand it, if Glenn is single, he can keep $250,000 of the proceeds of the sale of his home tax-free, and if he's married, he can keep $500,000 of the proceeds of the sale of his single-family home, and either roll it into the next thing, roll it into another home for himself, or he could roll less of it or roll none of it and take that money and invest it into a rental property. So Glenn, if you are married or if you are single, you can roll the majority of those sales proceeds into a rental property, no problem, if you live in the house. Okay. Now, easy way to that is move into the house for a while. And you got to live there for a significant amount of time. I believe it's 2 out of the last 3 years. Again, not a CPA. I want to talk to your accountant about that one. But it is a long period of time, not just a week or two. You have to live there for a significant amount of time to establish residency and then be able to keep that profit. If that's not what you're talking about doing, Glenn, if you're talking about selling a fix and flip, okay, Glenn bought a property, renovated it, or just maybe did a minor touch-ups to it, or he didn't do anything, just bought it and then sold it a couple of years later, or bought it and sold it a month later, whatever it is. That is a capital gain activity, and on the books, he'd have to pay taxes on that. If he could show that he bought the property for investment intention, that it was not just like a trading issue to buy it and then trade it up and sell it. If he bought it and can show investment intent, that he was looking to perhaps rent it at some point in the future, then he could do a 1031 exchange, and then he can take it. He can sell the property. Let's say we need numbers on this circumstance. Let's say he sells it for $100,000. Okay, sells it for $100K. He makes a $30,000 profit. Glenn could then take that sale and roll it into the purchase of something new. It just needs to be it needs to be bought for more than $100,000, so $150,000, and he has to use all $30,000 of that profit to buy the new asset and maybe borrow a bigger loan and everything like that. So the new purchase has to be of a larger amount, and the equity has to be all rolled into that new purchase. That's called a 1031 exchange, and there's more rules to this. I have more videos on 1031 exchanges on the YouTube channel, so check those out. But another rule is Glenn has to hold the new property under the same title that he held the old property in, right? So yes, he can do that too. He just has to show investment intent. Now the next thing that Glenn could do, because Glenn said participate in partnership rental properties. So what he's talking about doing, I think what Glenn's really asking is, can I sell a house, take the profit, and then invest it into a syndication or invest it into a larger project or something like that? Okay. It's difficult, Glenn. And so and if it's not your primary residence, and what you're talking about doing is selling something and then rolling that into something that you don't have direct ownership of. You own the company that owns the asset in a syndication. So in a syndication, you've got the picture like my hands. You've got this is the company, 123 LLC. You as the owner own a small chunk of that, and then 123 LLC owns the asset, owns the apartment building or the strip mall or whatever it is. Okay, that's how syndications are set up. So if you're going to 1031 into the property, you have to hold the new property in the same title that you held your other property. So let's say you own it in your own name or in your own LLC. You can't take those profits and invest it into a partnership because it's not a like-kind exchange. You're selling a piece of real estate, and really, you think you're buying real estate, but really you're buying a company. It's not the same thing. It's apples and it's grapefruits and car tires. They're completely different. They're not even the same fruit. It's a company that owns real estate and real estate itself. Not the same thing. And so that's why you can't trade out and invest into a syndication. But what you can do, Glenn, it's not hope is not lost, my friend. You can sell your property and then buy into the new property as a tenant in common. Now what that means is it gets like a little complicated. You totally need a lawyer for this. But the syndication would own 80% of the new property, and you, Glenn, or whoever else would own the other 20% of that property, and you would own it in common with them as a TIC, tenant in common. And you have your shares of the property, they have their shares, and you own the property deeded directly to you. Okay, and they have their share of the property deeded directly to them. You don't own a share of the syndication alongside them. You own the dirt separately. Okay, it's done regularly. There's lawyers that can set these things up that are very astute when it comes to these types of things. It's complicated, but it can be done. Okay, and that's the short answer to your question, Glenn. Very, very long answer, but short answer to your question about how you sell something and invest into a partnership. So, great question, and I wish you the best of luck, Glenn. It sounds like you've got some good options there. Don't forget, guys, help me at DeRosaGroup.com is the place you guys want to send your questions for Mentorship Monday. And hope you guys enjoyed this. As always, it's great chatting with you, and have a great and profitable week.